I don't know. The Last of Us 2 is fine. It's not a bad game, but it's just not like the craziest game out there. I don't know, in my opinion. Like, technically speaking, the game's really good. It does a lot of really cool things, technically speaking. And its narrative isn't terrible. Like, I think the narrative is actually fine, but my complaint is that, like, it's structurally terrible. The structure of the narrative is so fucking bad. It's like Beyond Two Souls level bad. Like, you get halfway through the game and you're like, oh yeah, I'm at the end of the game, and they're like, fucking psych, you're at the halfway point of the game, and now you gotta basically start at the beginning. And I'm like, what? Why? Why? Also, you did this backwards. So I guess I'll do spoiler alert. So if you give a fuck, just mute the stream. I don't know. I'll do a peace sign when you can unmute. All right. So the major complaint for most people is that they hate Abby. They just think she's a bad character in addition to you like having to play her. That's actually not my complaint. I kind of think it's annoying that Abby got the better skill tree. Like, her skill tree is much better than Ellie's, and Ellie's skill tree is very similar to Joel's in the first one, and then kind of like minus like the best perks. Like, that's what it seems like to me. They just kind of like ripped out the best perks and then gave Abby a bunch of like other pretty good perks, and Ellie's perks are like okay, but they're not on the same level as Abby's at all. So, but that's like the one like gameplay thing I have a problem with, and then the other is the narrative structure. It's not even the narrative itself I really have a problem with. It's the fact that, like, at the very beginning of the game, they're like, okay, you play as Ellie. Okay, now you play as Abby, who you have no idea who the fuck this person is or why they're important. And then you play as Ellie again. And then big spoilers, okay? The biggest of spoilers. If you haven't muted, mute, alright? And then she kills fucking Joel, alright? Like, and I'm just supposed to be like, oh, I'm gonna like this character. Because for no fucking reason that the game has not described to me for any reason why this character hates Joel and wants to fucking kill him, and then she just does. And you're just like, fuck this lady. Like, she just killed Joel. Fuck this bitch. Like, I don't give a fuck. And then you go through all this horrible shit with Ellie, and you get to like basically the end of Ellie's story. You get like, I don't know, like maybe 3/4 of the way through her story, and then they're just like, fuck you, now you have to play as Abby, and you have to start all over at the beginning. You have fucking no guns, no weapons, no perks, fuck you. And I'm like, why I don't want to do that. I legitimately almost quit playing the game at that point. Not because I was like, oh, I have to play as Abby, but like, you're gonna make me start fresh? Fuck you, man. That's just shit. Like, you should have they should have opened. The structure of the narrative is so fucking bad. Like, they should have started with Abby and then like promoted the game as like Abby's story without us knowing it was Ellie. Like, that would have just made more sense. They probably couldn't because Sony was like, you're never gonna sell copies that way, which is stupid because you literally just had to slap the name The Last of Us 2 on it. It would have sold like 1 million fucking copies, alright? And you could have just had the story been about Abby leading up to like the halfway point, or like even like the quarter point. Like, play through some of the shit that they already put in the game, like that's already made, lead up to the point where she kills Joel, and then go back and forth. It wouldn't have changed that much. Like, they wouldn't have had to change much, honestly. But no, they're just like, here's half of a game, here's the other half of the game, and here's the end of the game. Fuck you. Like, oh, okay, thanks. Thanks for that. Appreciate it, Naughty Dog. I'm like, I spent like whatever, fucking 20 hours on this fucking campaign just for like it to be fucking annoying, like, and just kind of disappointing. It's not even just like that, the fact that like the campaign's kind of disappointing, it's also like because the structure is so bad, in addition to the story just being like a 6. Like, the story is like a 6 or a 7. It's not terrible, but it's like nowhere near as good as the first one. And I'm just like, okay, well, I don't care. I don't care about this character. I don't really care about what's happening in the game now. And you just kind of like, I was empathetic for like maybe the first like 2 chapters, and then they just like I get narratively they wanted it to be like Abby's not totally the bad guy. Like, yeah, okay, I get it. Ellie's kind of a dick. Like, I get that, but then they just take it too far. Like, by the time I got to like the last section of the game, I was like, oh my fucking god, it's still not over. Just end, please end. Please just let the game be over. Oh my god, I can't take any more. Fuck me, I've had enough of this game already. Like, I'm good. And I know like Daryl disagrees with me on that. He really enjoyed his time throughout like the whole thing. I just like, I don't know, I feel like if it had been if it's one of those things where like at some point, like maybe like when they do the PS5 update or whatever for it, like they're like, okay, look, like here's an alternate way to play the game, and that like the structure's just different, then it's probably going to be much more enjoyable to me. But the way they structured the game is really fucking bad. Like, it's just really bad. And it's not like they don't know how to structure these games, because Uncharted 4 is designed impeccably. The level design for that game is incredible. And before that, The Last of Us, was the level design is really good. And the pacing is really good. Uncharted 4's pacing is really good too. I didn't play whatever it is, the Last Legacy. So, but I guess here the spoilers are over. But yeah, so basically the pacing of the narrative is fucking trash, and that's why I hate the game. Not like anything else. It's just the pacing. The pacing is horrible. So, it's enough of my rants and raves, I guess. Let's see, what does clip that do? It only lasts 30 seconds. That's not what I want to do. Oh well. What we'll do is we're gonna play a game now. I'm gonna play Metroid Prime and just chill. But yeah, I can't. And it's one of those things where like I didn't even bother, honestly, with the like making the content, because I knew like if I did, it wasn't gonna matter. People were just gonna be like, you're just mad, bro. So like what the fuck's the point, you know? Like, I know that's like a defeatist attitude, but like honestly, why waste my fucking time if like my best fucking like the audience it's gonna connect with is the dipshits who just hate the game because they hate women or something. And then like the very few amount of people who actually have criticisms about like the narrative structures and stuff like that. But it's mostly gonna appeal to the people who are like, it's SJW bullshit. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking appeal to those people. They're fucking dipshits. Like, I don't want to attract you to my audience. I don't want to interact with you. Mostly because at this point, like, I'm convinced that those people, you can't really change their minds. Like, it's just done and over with. Like, they're who they are, and they're just never gonna fucking agree with you. So like, whatever, who gives a shit at this point?